Hello everyone, welcome. This is episode number 8 of my philosophy series, commenting on the religious charlatan. Uh, Before anything else, self-criticism. I'm a religious person myself, so criticism of this type of evil is something that I use also as a warning against my own ego, to strive against it in a serious way, and to oppose its passions which compromise truth and human dignity. The religious charlatan is a very serious nemesis, very serious danger to any human being. It is the person that drags others into their way, which may not include other ways. That's probably one of the main characteristics. It's a person who, to some extent, believes that they are chosen by God. They believe that they are uh, the chosen one and that there's nobody else, that they are the some kind of special manifest of something that maybe hasn't been yet discovered, or something that they believe makes them stem out from others. That's one way that a person can be a religious charlatan. Another very common way is a subtle need for money or status, or even the presence of the opposite gender. And this comes in ways manifold, in many different ways, but it's worth commenting on. The way they do this when it comes to money is that they will justify what they do when it comes to religion by saying that it's research. Now, not every person that does this is a religious charlatan. You can indeed profit from religion. You can make money by researching religion. That's fine. But if you are doing that, then you need to know your place. You need to essentially know that at this point, this is religious activity, which is good, but it's mixed with a desire for this world. And that has to be acknowledged, and that has to be evident. This doesn't make you worse. This doesn't make you a lesser person. You can be the highest saint on earth and do that, possibly, but that distinction must be transparent, right? You must be able to distinguish between pure knowledge, which is for the sake of God, and religious knowledge in particular here in this context, and religious knowledge which is being used for God and for material gain, right? Ideally, you would want to not pursue material gain through your religious activity, right? You have every permission to pursue material gain, but if you are speaking on religion or acting in the name of religion, then it would be at least expected that you live up to the standard of asceticism, right? If your religion includes that. Another thing that people may do is in the direction of avoiding money, since they are more obsessed with status. The way that they are a religious charlatan is that they seek status. They want fame. They want people to follow them. They want people to listen to them. They are people who care about their status in society as much as they care about the truth. Again, you can be a person who is good and have this inclination, but at the same time a distinction must be made, right? You must be able to differentiate between when you are doing something which is religious for the sake of God alone, and when you're doing it with a mix of feelings for wanting status, right? Because you can seek status in a good way, in the sense that you will gain followers and then people will benefit from the good that you spread. In that way, you can seek status, because it's not about fame and yourself and your ego. It's more about you having a function in society, you getting more good deeds. You're doing good to yourself and you're doing good to others, right? It's a win-win situation. But when it gets the form of ego, of just listen to me and I'm the way and I'm the proper, guide or guru or whatever, or sheikh or priest or whatever, then at that point that's not really proper. Another way that the religious charlatan can lure people in is because of his passions, right? They may desire to impress a woman, or they may desire to, if they're a woman, impress a man, or they may try to justify forms of sexuality that might not be accepted in a faith by basically twisting the words of the faith, or they might try to lure in people of a specific type of maybe identity or nationality, or even, God forbid, age, which might not be acceptable. This is something also that the religious charlatan does. He uses religion as a means to status, which enables him more access to potential partners. This can be something that is simply a useful technique, a method. It can also be something corrupt, and it can be also something very demonic and horrible, right? Because they have certain desires, and they use religion as a powerful tool to fool other people. One of the greatest tests for saints, for people who are saints of God, is that they will be faced with the religious charlatan. Maybe not just once, but multiple times, for different reasons. One is to teach them as soon as possible about what is truth and what is falsehood, because the saint has to be one of the first lessons for the saint, for the person who is a protected wali, a friend of God, is to differentiate between truth and falsehood, right? And when they differentiate between truth and falsehood, they can engage in morality, right? But their morality must be powered by the mystical, and must be powered by the law as well, right? The religious charlatan as well is very similar to the Antichrist, because he justifies his evil deeds, his misdeeds, by mixing up truth with falsehood. He does not accept the law fully, and he does not accept the batin, the inward struggle fully, right? He doesn't struggle against his soul and against the demonic realms, in the sense of at least accepting that something is wrong and something is right. And he does not accept the outward, the law. He does not want to say that you have to pray. He does not want to say that you have to, for example, fast, from different religious perspectives, right? The religious charlatan is somebody who uses what he likes from religion and abandons what he doesn't like. There's people that will say, take what is useful from religions and abandon what is not useful. Sure, they want to use that as a way of morality, which is on a good track. However, the best way to say it is not to say that, but to say, learn what is the good of a religion and try to understand in the best way possible why people believe a certain way. And then take what you see by the faculty of your cognition for truth, what is good, and keep the good and abandon what is evil, that which people have mixed from their own souls with the purity of a religion, right? With the pure form that might be coming from God, okay, from a religious tradition, right? So that's something that is different, right? The religious charlatan also is somebody who speaks in a deep way, but never explains the depth of his words. And he is somebody who seeks even spiritual status. He might even seek the best ways to justify that there's an apocalypse coming nearby, and that he is maybe the chosen one or related to the chosen one. They may also basically do this in a way where it's evident that they have no idea, because at the same time we have to also acknowledge that the wali, the saint of God, can make claims if given permission. He can indeed say that a certain thing will happen, or that certain things are happening, and that certain things are being planned by God. But this is only done in a way when that person knows 100% that God has indicated to them that this should be spoken out loud. But at the same time, it's important to know that the saint is trained mystically. The saint is somebody who is consistently being taught in what way they have to have a state of mind, and in what way they have to express certain words so that people understand them, and that they at the same time do not make claims about themselves. Right? This is something that's very important. So the religious charlatan does not like the saint, because the religious charlatan does not see the value and importance of that inward complete sacrifice, of that inward directedness to God alone, of that decision that before I do anything in front of other people and outwardly, and I make goals, I have to make sure that I'm constantly in meditation that directs me to God, that at least my intention is purified, and that at least I am consistently distinguishing between right and false, and that even if I commit a sin, at least I know that it's a sin, and if I commit a wrong deed, at least I know that it's a wrong deed, right? That it's a misdeed. And if I do a good action, that I recognize its goodness, that I recognize the blessing, the importance in it, that I don't just say, it's all right, I'm just, whatever. No, fully and in a deep way, with depth of perception, right? Depth of perception. Engage with the reality that you find yourself in. So the saint is the opposite of the charlatan. The charlatan is he who takes on what God has spoken and takes on what God has indicated and washes it away in the oceans of the materialistic desires. The saint, however, will sacrifice all of that, and he emerges from that ocean victorious. He floats at the top of that ocean, and he is strong by God. He is perhaps in the most defeated land, but he will rise again and conquer. He will rise from that defeat, from that well of hopelessness, with the help of God, to such an extent that even though God tells him, hold firmly to the rope of God, he does not need a rope, because he is the rope of God. He is so close that he is basically that very means by which people cling onto, right? So do not cling onto charlatans that make claims and that call you in, that tell you this is the right way, this is the wrong way, but they expose to you the biggest amount of desire for money, the biggest amount of desire for sexual pleasure, and the biggest amount of desire for status, and yet they have never truly represented a face of joy, which is a produce of their opposition to the ego, right? Of opposition to reactionary, emotional, and displaced actions, right? The saint is somebody who manages different people, but he's not controlled by them. He's somebody who pertains to people, but he is not influenced by them easily. He's influenced by God, and he is also spontaneous, right? So the religious charlatan has to be opposed in these days. It is a person who keeps exposing and filtering their evil with the voice of religion. It is a person who does not know how to stop. It is a person who does not know how to see humanity and empower humanity, and they have no limits in their desire, right? They have limits, obviously, truly speaking, but their desire is to, in an unlimited way, keep talking and destroying other people's dignity without stopping for a second to think about what they're saying. Whoever believes in God in the last day, let him say good or remain silent. Prophet Muhammad.